Listen up because what I'm about to tell you is gonna blow your mind. You know that feeling when you check your bank account and there's money there but you're still broke? Yeah, that's not just you being bad with money. That's a trap, dude. A legit financial prison that millions of Americans are stuck in right now, and nobody's talking about it. See, after the pandemic hit, something twisted happened to how we handle cash. People started looking rich on the outside, new cars, fresh kicks, eating out every weekend, but on the inside? Totally broken. Financially destroyed. And here's the kicker. They don't even know they're drowning until it's way too late. This isn't about being poor. This is about looking successful while your soul gets crushed by minimum payments, interest rates, and a system designed to keep you running on a hamster wheel forever. I'm gonna show you exactly what money does to people's souls, and trust me, it's darker than you think. This is the story nobody wants you to hear. Yo, real quick before we dive deeper into this nightmare, if you're vibing with this content and you want to understand the dark psychology behind money and human suffering, do me a solid and hit that subscribe button right now. Seriously. What? Because this channel reveals the brutal truths that mainstream media won't touch. The stuff that keeps you up at night, the real stories about what's actually happening to regular people out there. And listen, if you don't subscribe, you're literally gonna miss out on the most eye-opening content about human behavior and social psychology on this platform. Plus, smash that like button because it helps this video reach more people who need to hear this truth. Takes 2 seconds, but it makes all the difference. Now let's get back to the story because it gets way crazier from here. So let me paint you a picture of what's really going down in post-pandemic America. Meet Sarah, not her real name, obviously, a 34-year-old marketing manager from Orange County, California. On paper, she's crushing it. 6-figure salary, drives a leased BMW, lives in a bougie apartment complex with a pool and a gym she never uses. Her Instagram? Pure fire. Brunch spots, beach days, designer handbags. Everyone thinks she's made it, right? Wrong. Dead wrong. Sarah is drowning in minimum payments. Credit cards, student loans, car lease, personal loans she took out during COVID when everything went sideways. Every single month, she makes the minimum payment on everything. Sounds responsible, doesn't it? That's what she thought too. But here's what nobody tells you about minimum payments. They're designed to keep you trapped forever. It's like quicksand, bro. The more you struggle, the deeper you sink. Let me break down the math real quick because this is where it gets absolutely insane. Sarah has about $45,000 in credit card debt spread across 5 cards. Her minimum payments total around $900 a month. Sounds manageable, right? She makes good money. But check this out. At minimum payments, it'll take her over 20 years to pay that off. 20 years. And she'll end up paying over $90,000 total because of interest. That's literally double what she actually spent. The banks aren't giving you a helping hand with those minimum payments. They're putting a noose around your neck and telling you it's a necklace. But Sarah's story isn't unique. It's the norm now. After the pandemic, consumer debt in America exploded like never before. We're talking over $1 trillion in credit card debt alone. $1 trillion, dude. That's thousand billions. People lost their jobs, burned through their savings, and when things opened back up, everyone tried to go back to normal life, but with empty bank accounts. So what did they do? They financed their entire lives. Everything went on credit. And now we've got an entire generation stuck in this minimum payment trap, thinking they're handling their business when really they're just feeding the machine. The psychological damage this does to people is absolutely brutal. Sarah told me, and this part destroyed me, that she wakes up every morning with this heavy weight on her chest. Anxiety, dread, shame. She feels like a fraud because she looks successful but she's actually broke. She can't tell her friends because she's too embarrassed. Can't tell her family because they think she's doing great. She's stuck in this performance of wealth while internally she's falling apart. That's what money does to your soul. It turns you into a liar. First you lie to other people, then you start lying to yourself. And here's where it gets really dark. The spending doesn't stop. That's the twisted part. You'd think someone drowning in debt would cut back, right? No. It's like an addiction for real. Sarah keeps spending because shopping gives her a temporary high, a brief escape from the anxiety of her financial reality. New dress? That's $300 on the card, but hey, minimum payment only goes up by like $8 a month. Seems doable. Dinner with friends? Another $150 on the card. It's this insane cycle where the very thing destroying you becomes your coping mechanism for dealing with the destruction. The banks know this. They're counting on it. They've got entire departments staffed with psychologists and behavioral scientists figuring out how to keep you hooked. They make minimum payments seem totally reasonable, totally manageable. They don't show you the real numbers. how much you'll actually pay over time, how many years you'll be stuck, how much of your life force is gonna get drained making them rich. It's predatory straight up. But it's legal. It's just business, right? What really messes with your head is how normalized this has become. Like, nobody even questions it anymore. Having massive debt is just part of being an American adult now. Student loans? That's just the cost of education. Car payment? Well, you need a car to work. Credit card debt? Hey, everybody's got some. It's fine. But it's not fine. It's a slow-motion disaster that's destroying people's mental health, their relationships, their dreams, their entire lives. Sarah wanted to start her own business. Had this whole plan, was super passionate about it. But she can't. Because she's trapped making minimum payments to banks for money she spent years ago on stuff she doesn't even remember buying. The pandemic made this way worse because it exposed just how fragile most people's finances really are. 1 month without income and boom, everything falls apart. People who thought they were middle class realized they were actually just one emergency away from being completely broke. So when things opened back up, there was this desperate scramble to get back to normal, to prove everything was okay, to maintain the appearance of stability. And credit cards became the tool to fake it. The minimum payment trap became the way to keep the illusion alive. Sarah's relationship with money is completely toxic now. She avoids looking at her bank statements, doesn't check her credit card balances, just makes the minimum payments automatically every month and tries not to think about it. That's not financial management, that's financial dissociation. She's literally disconnecting from reality because reality is too painful to face. And the scariest part? She knows she needs to change something, but she feels paralyzed, stuck, like she's in too deep to ever get out. So she just keeps going, keeps making those minimum payments, keeps the machine running, while her soul gets chipped away piece by piece. This is what modern financial prison looks like. It's not dramatic. It's not sudden. It's this slow, grinding pressure that just never stops. And the worst part is how invisible it is. Sarah looks fine. Her life looks fine. But inside she's being crushed. And there are millions, literally millions of people just like her, all trapped in the same system, all making their minimum payments, all slowly dying inside while keeping up appearances on the outside. Now here's where Sarah's story takes a turn that nobody saw coming, and this is gonna mess with everything you thought you knew about debt and money. One random Tuesday morning, Sarah's scrolling through her phone during her coffee break, avoiding work like usual, when she gets a notification. Her credit score just dropped. Again. 50 points this time. She's sitting there, heart racing, palms sweating, and she does something she hasn't done in months. She actually opens her banking app and looks at everything. All of it. Every account, every card, every loan. And what she sees literally makes her feel sick. But then something weird happens. She starts doing the math differently. Not the bank's math, her own math. And she discovers something absolutely insane that changes everything. All those minimum payments she's been making so religiously, they're barely touching the principal. Like almost nothing. On her biggest credit card with a $19,000 balance, her $280 minimum payment was putting like $43 toward the actual debt. The rest? Pure interest. She'd been making that payment for 2 years straight and the balance had only dropped by about $1,000. 2 years. 24 payments. Almost $7,000 paid. And the debt barely moved. That's when it hit her like a freight train. She'd been played. The whole system had been designed to keep her exactly where she was. Making payments forever, feeling responsible, feeling like she was handling it while actually going nowhere. It was genius and evil at the same time. The banks had convinced her that making minimum payments was the responsible thing to do, the mature thing, the adult thing. But really? She was just funding their yacht payments while staying broke forever. So Sarah did something crazy. Something that goes against everything we're taught about credit and responsibility. She stopped making minimum payments. Not because she gave up, but because she got strategic. She looked at all her debts, all her expenses, everything, and she made a radical decision. Instead of spreading her money thin across all these minimum payments that weren't doing anything, she was gonna focus. Attack one debt at a time with everything she had while letting the others sit for a minute. Risky? Absolutely. Her credit score was gonna tank even more. The banks were gonna blow up her phone. But here's what she realized. Her credit score was already trashed. And what good was a perfect payment history if she was gonna be in debt until she was 55 years old anyway? The first month she did this, her anxiety went through the roof. Calls from creditors, threatening letters, warnings about collections. It was brutal. But something unexpected happened too. She paid off one of her smaller cards completely. $3,000 gone. And for the first time in years, she felt something she'd forgotten existed. Hope. Actual hope. One number went to zero. One account closed with a zero balance. It sounds small, but psychologically, was massive. She proved to herself that escape was possible. That the debt wasn't permanent. That she wasn't gonna die owing money to Chase Bank. Now here's the part that really exposes the system. Once that first card was paid off, Sarah had more cash flow. Not a lot, but some. Instead of that $300 going to minimum payments on multiple cards, she rolled it all into attacking the next debt. And it fell faster. Then the next one even faster. It's called the debt snowball method, but that's not even the revelatory part. The revelatory part is that the banks hate when you do this. They'd rather have you making minimum payments on everything forever than actually eliminating debt. Because that's how they make their real money, keeping you trapped in the system, not helping you escape it. But here's where Sarah's story gets really controversial, and this is gonna make some people uncomfortable. She discovered something about the debt collection industry that most people don't know. After a few months of not making payments on her bigger cards, they got sold to collection agencies. And those agencies? They bought her debt for like 20 cents on the dollar. So her $15,000 credit card debt got sold to some collection company for $3,000. Which means the original bank already wrote it off, already took the loss, already got their money back through insurance and tax deductions. The debt she was stressing about, that was destroying her mental health? The bank didn't even want it anymore. They'd already moved on. So when the collection agency called her, offering to settle for $6,000, less than half of what she owed, she realized the whole thing was negotiable. The whole thing was basically made up at this point. These agencies were trying to profit off debt they bought for pennies, and they'd rather get something than nothing. Sarah negotiated it down to $4,000, set up a payment plan she could actually handle, and eliminated a $15,000 debt for $4,000. The system that seemed so rigid, so official, so permanent? It was all flexible. It was all negotiable. It was all a game she didn't even know she was playing. Now I'm not telling you to trash your credit and stop paying your bills. That's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, and that path isn't right for everyone. What I'm telling you is that Sarah discovered the minimum payment trap is exactly that, a trap. It's designed to extract maximum money from you while providing minimum progress. The banks don't want you to pay off your debt quickly. They want you making those minimum payments until you're old because that's where the profit is. Every financial institution will tell you to make your minimum payments, keep your credit score perfect, stay in good standing. But nobody tells you that good standing means being in debt forever. Sarah's mental health improved dramatically once she stopped playing by their rules and started playing by her own. Yeah, her credit score tanked for a while. Yeah, she dealt with collectors and stress and uncomfortable conversations. But she also eliminated over $40,000 of debt in 18 months instead of the 20+ years it would have taken making minimum payments. She traded temporary pain for permanent freedom instead of permanent pain disguised as responsibility. The really messed up part? Most people never figure this out. They stay trapped because they're scared of what happens if they break the rules. Scared of collections, scared of bad credit, scared of not being able to finance the next thing. So they keep making those minimum payments like good little debtors, never realizing they're in a prison with an unlocked door. The system relies on your fear and your compliance. It relies on you believing that debt is permanent, that you have to play by their rules, that minimum payments are the only responsible option. Sarah told me something that stuck with me hard. She said, I spent years trying to look rich while feeling broke. Now I'm actually broke on paper, terrible credit, can't finance anything, can't even rent a nice apartment probably. But for the first time since college I feel free. I feel like I'm not drowning. I'd rather be actually poor with hope than fake rich with no way out. That right there? That's what this whole thing is about. The illusion of wealth maintained through debt versus the reality of freedom through sacrifice. Most people choose the illusion because the reality is too scary. The financial system in America post-pandemic has become this weird trap where looking successful is more important than being successful. Where maintaining appearances matters more than actual stability. Where minimum payments let you pretend everything's fine while you're actually sinking. And millions of people are stuck in this right now, thinking they're alone, thinking they're the only one struggling, not realizing almost everyone around them is faking it too. We've built an entire economy on the foundation of minimum payments and maximum anxiety. And the crazy part? Most people don't even realize they're trapped until something forces them to look at the real numbers. Just like Sarah. Hey, pause for a second. What are you thinking right now? Drop a comment below because I genuinely want to know your opinion on this. Have you ever been trapped in minimum payments? Do you know someone going through this right now? Maybe you're dealing with this exact situation as we speak? Share your story in the comments. Seriously, your experience might help someone else who's struggling and feels alone in this. Plus, it helps me understand what content you need most, which means I can keep bringing you real, raw stories like this one that actually matter. And listen, stay until the very end of this video because what I'm about to tell you in the next part will completely change how you see money and freedom. Sarah's story has one more twist that reveals the deepest psychological trap of all, and you need to hear it. Don't bail now, we're almost there. So here's what Sarah's story really teaches us, and this is the part that cuts deep. This isn't just about money. It never was. Money is just the weapon, but the real damage? That happens to your soul, to your sense of self, to your humanity. Sarah spent years of her life in this weird purgatory where she wasn't living, she was performing. Every brunch, every outfit, every Instagram post was part of this elaborate performance to prove she was okay, to prove she'd made it, to prove the struggle was worth it. But inside, she was hollow, empty, going through the motions while slowly disappearing. The thing about financial prison that nobody talks about is how it rewires your brain. Sarah stopped dreaming. Like, literally stopped imagining a better future. When you're trapped in minimum payments, when every month is just about surviving until the next paycheck, when you're constantly juggling which bill to pay and which one can wait, you lose the ability to think long-term. You lose hope. And when you lose hope, you lose yourself. She told me she couldn't even remember the last time she thought about what she actually wanted from life. All her mental energy went into managing the debt, avoiding the anxiety, and maintaining the illusion. There was nothing left for dreams, for growth, for actually living. And that's exactly what the system wants. I know that sounds conspiracy theory crazy, but think about it for real. A population trapped in debt is a compliant population. People drowning in minimum payments don't quit their jobs to start businesses. They don't take risks. They don't challenge the status quo. They can't afford to. They need that steady paycheck to make those payments, to keep the machine running, to avoid catastrophe. Financial stress keeps people small, keeps them scared, keeps them obedient. Sarah stayed in a job she hated for 3 extra years because she couldn't risk losing the income. That's 3 years of her life she'll never get back, spent doing something that made her miserable, all because of debt that could have been handled differently. The psychological toll of living like this is something we don't talk about enough in America. We talk about debt like it's just numbers, just money, just business. But it's not. It's your mental health deteriorating. It's relationships crumbling because financial stress bleeds into everything. It's physical health declining because stress literally destroys your body. Sarah developed insomnia, anxiety attacks, stress-related stomach issues. Her doctor tried to prescribe her medication for anxiety, but the real problem wasn't chemical, it was financial. You can't medicate your way out of a broken system. What really gets me is how many people are living Sarah's exact life right now and don't even know it. They think they're the problem. They think they're bad with money, irresponsible, failures. But that's not it. The system is designed to make you feel that way. It's designed to make you blame yourself instead of questioning why minimum payments barely touch the principal, why interest rates are so insane, why financial literacy isn't taught in schools, why predatory lending is legal. We've internalized the idea that if you're in debt, it's your fault, your failure, your weakness. And that shame keeps people silent, keeps them suffering alone, keeps them from organizing, from demanding better, from recognizing this is a systemic problem, not a personal one. Sarah's journey to breaking free wasn't just about the money mechanics, snowball method, negotiations, settlements. That was just the technical stuff. The real breakthrough was psychological. She had to stop caring about what people thought. Had to accept that her credit score tanking didn't make her a bad person. Had to be okay with telling friends, "I can't afford that," instead of putting it on a card to keep up appearances. That might sound simple, but in a culture that equates net worth with self-worth, it's revolutionary. She had to choose reality over illusion, and that choice cost her relationships. Some friends faded away when she stopped being able to keep up with their lifestyle. But she also discovered who her real people were. The ones who didn't care about brunch spots and bottle service, who valued her as a human, not as a participant in their lifestyle content. The deeper truth here is that post-pandemic America has created this massive class of people who look middle class but are actually broke. The illusion of prosperity maintained through credit and minimum payments. And this illusion serves a purpose. It keeps the economy running, keeps consumption high, keeps people working jobs they hate to make payments on stuff they don't need to impress people they don't like. It's a treadmill. A beautiful, Instagram-filtered treadmill that's going nowhere. What Sarah learned, and what everyone trapped in this system needs to understand, is that financial freedom isn't about having more money. It's about breaking the psychological chains that debt creates. It's about redefining what success actually means to you, not what society says it should mean. She drives a 10-year-old Honda now instead of a leased BMW. Lives in a smaller apartment that costs half as much. Doesn't go out as much. And you know what? She's happier than she's been in a decade. Because she's free. Actually free. Not fake free with a Tesla payment and anxiety attacks. Real freedom. The message isn't debt is always bad, or never use credit. That's too simplistic. The message is, understand what you're actually signing up for. Understand that minimum payments are designed to keep you trapped, not to help you. Understand that the system profits from your anxiety and your compliance. Understand that looking rich while being broke is a prison, and the door is unlocked if you're brave enough to walk through it. Sarah's biggest regret isn't getting into debt. It's all those years she wasted making minimum payments, thinking she was being responsible, when really she was just prolonging her own suffering. All those years she could have been building something real instead of maintaining an illusion. All that mental and emotional energy she could have put into living instead of performing. You can't get that time back. You can't undo those years of anxiety and stress and shame. But you can change direction. You can stop playing by their rules and start playing by your own. The scariest part of Sarah's story isn't the debt, it's how normal it all was. How many people are living this exact life, thinking it's just how things are, thinking this is just adulthood in America, not realizing they're in a trap that's completely optional. We've normalized financial suffering to the point where people think anxiety about money is just part of being a grown-up. But it's not. It's a symptom of a broken system that profits from your pain. What money does to the soul isn't just about greed or corruption or wanting more. It's about the slow erosion of self that happens when you're trapped. When you're making choices based on fear instead of desire. When you're living for payments instead of purpose. When you stop being a person and become a debtor. That's the real cost, not the interest rates or the balance, but the piece of yourself you lose every month you stay trapped in a system designed to keep you there. Sarah's story doesn't end with her being completely debt-free and riding off into the sunset. Real life doesn't work like that. She's still fighting, still rebuilding, still dealing with the consequences of breaking free from the system. But here's what changed. She's fighting for herself now, not for the banks. She's building a life that's real, not performing one that's fake. And that shift, that's everything. If this video messed with your head even a little bit, if you see yourself or someone you know in Sarah's story, then you need to watch what I'm dropping next. Because this is just the tip of the iceberg. I've got another video that goes even deeper into the psychological traps that keep people broke, scared, and stuck, and more importantly, how to break free from them. It's raw, it's real, and it might just change your entire perspective on money and freedom. Click the video that's popping up on your screen right now. Don't wait, don't scroll away, don't tell yourself you'll watch it later. Your future self will thank you for watching it right now. Trust me on this, you need to see what comes next. Let's keep going. Click it.